What's up? Welcome back to Chaotic Pubcast After Hours. It's been a minute since we posted one of these, so thanks for sticking with us. I'm Ryan Damask, your host, with my good friend CJ. What's up,
What
CJ?
up? Nothing much. What's going on? Thank you for inviting me here. I feel honored.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to have you. Me and CJ got in like a very like deep conversation about a week ago about like everything going on in the MCU, and I was like, man, we should just do this in an episode. I think it'd be more fun.
Yes.
So kind of held off some of the stuff I had to say about it, and but I'm excited, man. So yes,
Same.
this is a Marvel episode.
Yes, I'm ready. It's especially with SDCC happening. Oh, I got a lot on my chest.
Yeah. So much came out from San Diego Comic-Con. We got basically the next 3+ years of movies and TV shows and everything else. Kind of.
Yep.
There's stuff in Phase 6 that we still got gaps to fill in, but
Yeah.
Excited to see what those are going to be. So what was your biggest thing from San Diego Comic-Con that you were excited about?
Oh, I can tell you right off the bat. I mean, if you want to go biggest thing let's go second biggest and biggest.
Okay.
Biggest thing that excited me is we get a Daredevil remake.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a remake, but
I think they're going to
Daredevil comes back.
But yeah, 18 episodes, dude. That's crazy for Disney Plus.
That's huge. You're talking about what? I think like 4.5 months of Daredevil.
And not only that, but he's going to be in She-Hulk. He's going to be in Echo, I'm sure.
Yeah, he'll have to. I mean, I see him in that kind of like, I guess. Well, Echo. I don't know how they're playing her. If she's going to be like an anti-hero or anti-heroine. Sure. So I think he's going to be in
I never read much in the comics about Echo.
I didn't.
I didn't know too much about her.
Yeah, same. I didn't, but I like how they're putting him in that. I mean, that's kind of like, that's my, I can't wait. My biggest thing, obviously, and I'll say this, Kang Dynasty.
Me too. I loved Jonathan Majors before he was in the MCU. Like Lovecraft Country was amazing. He was really good in oh shit, what's that Western movie?
Oh yeah, you told me about it. Yeah, I remember you told me about it. I can't remember what it is. The Harder They Fall. Yeah,
Harder They Fall. He was amazing in that. And he was in there with like Idris Elba and like, dude, he was the main character. You know what I mean? Like, so he really knows how to be great. And then we saw him in Loki. And I was like, okay, they picked the perfect guy for this.
He gave me chills when he was playing his part in Loki because it was so laid back. It wasn't. I didn't feel like he was acting. Yeah. I just felt like that's who he was.
Him. It's kind of like a Robert Downey Jr. type thing, right? Yes. Like it just seems like that's just him.
Yeah, there's certain parts for some of these Marvel characters where that's them. Like Charlie Cox. That's Daredevil.
Yep.
You know, you have Chris Hemsworth. Chris Pratt, Ant-Man. Chris Hemsworth, Thor. Chris Evans. Well, we're going down to Chris's.
You said Chris Pratt, Ant-Man. He's Star-Lord.
Oh, Star-Lord. Yeah. Paul Rudd. Excuse me. Paul Rudd, Ant-Man.
I knew what you meant.
You know, they're just Hey, look. My brain thinks faster than my mouth talks at times.
Yeah, it's funny how that people get like solidify in these roles, and you're just like, oh, that's just the person now. Like definitely Chris Hemsworth. Like I saw him in another movie recently, Spiderhead, which by the way was not a good movie. I don't recommend it. But I mean, like his character, his acting was great, but it was just weird to see him in something that wasn't Thor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's like Robert Downey Jr. when he was playing. Was it Sherlock Holmes? No, it was
Oh, but he's great in Sherlock Holmes too. I love him in that role.
Oh, see, I haven't seen him do it. It's certain people that play those parts. But I mean, going back to the SDCC, I can't even say Secret Wars is my like all time because they have to build up to it like it was was Endgame. Like I have to watch one then see the other and be like, holy crap. But I mean, Kang Dynasty, the way that everything has to build up to it, I think that's gonna be what. So I'll tell you what one of my employees told me earlier. He was like, "Do you think the end of Phase 6, so Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, is going to be Infinity level in game big?"
So Kevin Feige, he was like, this wasn't so much like it. We don't want to compare them to Infinity War and Endgame. Like we want it to be something different. Now, I think as far as hype goes and like end result, like how good it is, yeah, I definitely think that I'm excited to see who's going to be directing them. I really thought it was going to be Russo brothers.
I was praying it was.
Uh,
I was hoping.
It'd be funny if somebody came in like James Gunn and didn't.
James, hey, there's comedy, there's action. You get a Michael Bay film for the second one, and you just get explosions everywhere.
No, but I'm with you. Kang Dynasty is what I'm excited for, and I'm excited to see all Kang's appearances through the next couple phases. I told you guys months ago that even before like Thor came out, before Multiverse of Madness came out, like I've been excited for Quantumania for like a year now because I knew after Loki,
you have.
I knew that was the next time we were going to see Jonathan Majors Kang, and so I'm stoked for it.
And what gets me excited is that more so like so now I think Phase 5 and 6 are going to be more of like the comic book head. Like that's going to be more towards your people who actually know the comics, know Marvel, and it's going to get them excited because we went through, I guess. So I said Infinity Saga was like origin. That was like the origin saga where it told a lot of backstories and how everything led up.
It was a lot of backstory for new characters.
Yeah. It was. And it started telling your stories for your next set of people. Mm-hmm. It was like your origin stories for all your next set of Avengers. Yep. And I think you're big comic book buffs, so people who actually know who Kang is, and I'll say kind of Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom, everybody who really knows who these characters are. This Phase 5 and 6, I think that's what's going to get us excited. Yeah. Your everyday Marvel people, I don't think they're going to really be as involved into it as like how we are.
Yeah, I'm excited to see who like end up casting as Doom, because that's going to be huge. I don't think Doom is going to be as big of a part of this saga. Because I think they really don't want to take a lot of focus off Kang. And if they kind of made up Doom really big, they would take more focus off Kang. I do think they're going to like slowly roll him out. And then my theory is, so we're going big this saga, right? Like we're going multiverses. We're seeing every universe there is and all that. And we're going all over the multiverse and all that kind of stuff, right? So I think the next, not phase, but next saga after Secret Wars is going to be shrink back down. We're not going to be going all over the multiverse and stuff like that. It's going to be more back based on Earth. And that's where it's going to be really Doom focused.
I can see that. I really can see that. I can see him being like thrown out, maybe pre, Doom with abilities and stuff. He may be just the rich guy, and he'll be there because I think Doom can be a bigger bad because we're kind of going, bigger bad. So you have Thanos, then you have Kang, then you can have Doom, but not as extreme as Kang was.
My thing I can see that the Fantastic Four movie came out. Kevin Feige said that it is not an origin story, which makes sense because in timeline, like they would have already been established and stuff like that. Which makes me wonder, like, where the hell they been? How are they going to explain them not being around? Doom hasn't done anything that's ticked off anybody's radar so far.
Yeah, you got to realize it's we only fight our own enemy. Everybody has their own enemy. You only fight your own.
What's
Oh,
Doom's country called?
it starts with an L.
Latveria.
Not Lithuania.
Latveria.
Latvia. Yeah.
So
Latveria.
obviously, like Sokovia, Latveria, made up place for like, but I have to imagine they're pretty close. And you're telling me like all this shit happened in Sokovia and Doom had nothing to say about it?
They were just sitting there looking and just be like, oh well, it's over there.
I feel like Doom probably helped with the reconstruction of Sokovia, and it really like ran his resources thin, and he is instigating the war between Atlantis and Wakanda to try to get their vibranium.
I really hope they are tying that together. I can't even like give you a counterpoint on that one, mainly because where else? I mean, Doom in the comic always was going toward he wanted vibranium, so he was a guy that knew what Wakanda had, what they were capable of. So I can see him going for Wakanda and some kind of conflict, just to start something. But I think he may be kind of like he may be behind certain things. You have the what's her name that was in the Power Broker.
Yeah.
So the Power Broker.
And then in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, she kind of like showed her true colors as well.
Yeah. That's what I want to say. Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I think Doom or Victor, he may be playing some of the strings behind the Power Broker or alongside the Power Broker to get arms and stuff. That way he's not directly being Doom, but he's kind of pulling strings to make stuff happen, and then that makes him more powerful later on. Where the Fantastic Four play in, the fact that I'm glad that it's not going to be an origin film, because everybody knows the story of the Fantastic Four. I put them in the category. I put them with Wolverine, Batman, X-Men never had an origin story, so I actually don't think they'll have an individual film that Kevin Feige is going to make. I think they're just going to be around.
Well, I say that, and I honestly think they'll be a bigger part of the next saga as well. I mean, they're getting introduced. We found out Ms. Marvel is the MCU's first mutant. We're getting Namor, who is the world's first mutant. And so I'm excited to see Namor. He's gonna be phenomenal.
I think that's gonna be. I think as long as they don't stretch to Chadwick Boseman's death and make it too much part of the movie,
like who killed Black Panther.
It needs to be a good It needs to be a good 20 to 30 minutes, and then the next hour and a half needs to be nothing but.
So, what do you think about the theory
progressing the plot
that Killmonger is going to come back and take the Black Panther mantle?
I like it. I don't want them to linger on people coming back from the dead.
So I feel like that's too comic booky. Him like die
to like, where no one's dead.
They threw him in the ocean, which is where Namor is, and so the thought is maybe the Atlanteans like got Killmonger and have like been keeping him alive.
Which I can, if they make a good story around that, I can grasp it. I just don't want them to get so comic book where, if you didn't see them die, they're not dead. Like Loki died.
Yeah.
But Loki ain't dead. So, but it'll be pretty, it will be good to see them bring him back to help fight. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. He died. His neck snapped. But how they brought him back, you're just like, okay, so how is he going to fall into the main 616 universe, because this is offset Loki. But I think for Killmonger, I can see them bringing him back saying he didn't die, but I don't know if I'll be okay with him taking up the mantle. I think it's hey, look, like that didn't work out, so I'm going to help you my way. Because he was kind of like his own, let me be me. I earned the Black Panther mantle at one point, which he did by their, their laws or whatever, or their ritual. But I can't see him taking up the Black Panther, mantle. I just see him coming back and helping some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of it.
Yeah, I'm with you. So who do you think was in the suit in the trailer?
Oh man,
That's my biggest. That's my biggest. I think that's everyone's biggest question. Is it Shuri? Is it?
Yeah, it is. I'll put my money on Shuri just because of comic book sake, and I can see it happening for a little bit. I think someone else is going to take it up, and they're going to hit us with a bait and switch.
I think
they're going to hit us with a bait and switch.
Yeah. So, what else got announced? Guardians of the Galaxy 3. You didn't hear it from us, but there is a leaked, like really shitty footage of the trailer they showed at San Diego Comic-Con on YouTube.
Yeah, I did hear about it. I actually didn't see it.
Apparently, it's going to be heavily focused on Baby Rocket.
Yeah. Okay, I did.
Yeah. And all the shit that he went through, and so the High Evolutionary, which is played. I can't think of his name. But played by the guy who played like the leader of the group in Peacemaker.
Oh, yeah.
Chikudi Iwuji.
I wouldn't be able to say it any better.
Yeah, he was great in Peacemaker, so it's gonna be cool to see him in the MCU. But it's gonna be all about like his experiments on creatures and stuff like Rocket, and so I think he's gonna be the big villain of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and then we had Adam Warlock.
I'm glad they're able to retie that Adam Warlock back in, because it was kind of left hanging. So I High Evolutionary, obviously big person in Marvel. He started, well, I mean, if you really want to start tying stuff together, High Evolutionary created like the animals or whatever that created Wanda and Pietro. I don't know. Yeah. So I High Evolutionary is going to be good because Rocket's backstory was always like teased and hinted at, and it's kind of it's right. He plays too big of a part. Well, the High Evolutionary plays too big of a part in Marvel to where no one ever talked about him. So I think that's going to be good. I didn't see too much. I heard a lot about the trailer. I didn't see the trailer. I was trying to find a good leak on it to watch it. But Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be good, mainly because of what I don't know if you know what Chris Pratt said about the whole he basically, I'll summarize it. It wasn't word for word, but the summarization was, because of time vortex, no one ever dies in Marvel. So I think he might die in Guardians 3, and then he gets brought back for Secret Wars, which will be,
that's possible, because James Gunn did say this is the final Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
So and I can see the chapter closing on the Guardians, because you can do a lot with Guardians, but as it pertains to like the MCU,
I think it'd be better to send them on their way and then pull them back in individually.
Yes.
As
you're gonna get closure from probably him and Gamora, like new Gamora that's in this universe now, or that's in this timeline now. That still confuses me. Universe, timeline, realm, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you're gonna closure on that. Yeah.
But we got so much stuff to see outside of Earth that's still yet to be really brought up. There's so much else going on, in not the multiverse, but just the universe, like the 616 universe. You got the Kree that we briefly seen in Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain Marvel, but like they're huge in Marvel lore, and so many other planets and species and stuff like that. And so I have like a lingering feeling that like Galactus is gonna come in at some point, like in the next saga.
I hope so.
I don't think he's gonna be like the big. I don't think he's gonna be like the big bad, but maybe in like a Fantastic Four 2 or something. Like
so,
that Silver Surfer will come in.
I got two questions for you then. Since we want to go down that way. So for Galactus, do you think they'll make him a like semi? He's over in like 2 movies that kind of overlap, and then they move on, because with all of Phase 6, there's a lot of emptiness in Phase 6. Yeah. Do you think they'll just kind of give him a quick, here's his run, we fought him off?
Yeah, it would. I mean, I do not trust MCU to keep villains alive for more than one movie lately. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, as much as I love Marvel, as much as I love the MCU and Kevin Feige and everybody, like, I've been really disappointed with how fast some enemies or some good villains get killed off. Don't get me started on Gore.
We don't talk about that Thor movie.
We don't talk about
We don't talk about Gore. We don't talk about Gore the Butcher. Dude, oh. I mean, okay, so if we're going to go there, let's add some questions. All right, so what do you think about Thor: Love and Thunder?
You know, after this happens frequently for me. It happened with me with Spider-Man No Way Home. It happened with Multiverse of Madness. I get out of the theater and I'm like, oh my God, I love that movie. And then I have time to let it settle and I think about it and I'm like, I didn't like it as much as I originally thought getting out of the theater. I will tell you with Thor: Love and Thunder, I walked out of the theater and I just go, what? Like, it's one of the few times with the MCU that I've walked out and just been like, what was that? And I'm not saying it was like a totally bad movie. There's parts of it I loved, but I was just like, I saw Gore for like 10 minutes. It was weird. It was a weird storyline. It was a weird path. Taika Waititi is one of my favorite directors. And I hope to God he was just getting like his hand held the entire movie. Like they were like, you got to keep it under 2 hours. So he made it exactly 1 hour and 59 minutes. They were like, oh yeah, well, you can't do this, can't do that because we're doing this on the other movie or something. Like, I really hope that's the case and that he didn't like just royally shit the bed on his own. You know what I mean?
I agree. I'm with you on that. I think he had to get handheld because, as I said, like a lot of killings got cut out. Like I needed to see Gore, Butcher.
There was like huge celebrities that didn't even make it in the movie.
Yeah,
Lena Headey or whatever, that she plays Cersei in Game of Thrones. She was supposed to be in the movie. Like she has a part in the movie, and she was just cut out completely.
Yeah, like I needed to see Gore go butcher gods. And I like the intro to where they started with it. This is kind of what sparked it. He killed his first god, you know, out of like in that kind of spiteful moment. And I liked it. And same thing, like I tell everybody, Christian Bale, 9 out of 10 acting. Thor: Love and Thunder, 4 out of 10. Like the whole thing, like I needed more Gore, less mighty Thor.
God, he carried the movie. He carried. He's the reason it got the 4 out of 10, not a 1, right? Like he was.
Yeah, I think they went too.
He did everything in his power correctly.
Yeah.
Like we didn't need that. We didn't need the screaming goats and some of the other dumb stuff. Like
I think
I love Taika Waititi's humor, but this just felt too forced. Ragnarok, I didn't feel a lot of times like, oh, this is just like dumb, like it's just dumb humor. Like it was, but it was fun dumb humor.
And that's dumb. What I like. I like Taika Waititi's, like he'll like make a joke at the beginning and then you would call back later. Like especially with the goats. Like I thought the goats were funny, but you give it to me at the beginning when you first met them, and then at Omnipotent City.
Times.
Yeah, you gave me like 10. You kept doing it every time it was like welcome. No, you give it to me then. You give it to me at when they were at Omnipotent City or whatever it is. What was it?
Omnipotent.
Oh, Omnipotent City. And then you give it to me at the end when they came in. 3 times, my ass would have laughed my ass off. But when you do it like every 30 seconds of like, it takes the jokes away.
I still love you. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
Don't quit the MCU over this. Come back and do something better.
Yeah.
But we are around that time, so we might have to carry this over to another episode at a later date. Maybe after She-Hulk.
Yes, anytime I'm down for any kind of Marvel conversations. You know, I always will state my opinion. I hate Marvel, but I'm like 80% love Kevin Feige, 10% love some of these directors.
I gotta say, all this lately has made me. I have a shit ton of comics. I have a huge collection, but I haven't kept up in like recent history. So I just got back on the comic train. I'm going to my local shop and getting a pull list ready and going to get some back issues and stuff. I'm ready to catch back up. So I'm excited for Marvel. I'm excited for MCU. Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you for inviting me on here.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being on. I always enjoy talking to you, and especially talking MCU. So we'll do it again for sure.
All right. Cool. Peace.
All right. Have a good night. Hey, everyone, make sure, if you haven't already, that like and subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this, you probably already have, so we appreciate that. Follow us at Chaotic Pubcast on Instagram and Twitter. And check out our Patreon if you'd be so kind. It'd be awesome. Thanks. Have a good night.